Are you looking for some new projects with good fundamentals in preparation for this bull run? Well, I got one for you. It's called Tenet. In today's video, we're going to do a deep dive. We're going to be looking at Tenet and exactly what it has to offer to the market and if the fundamentals can support some bullish price action to the upside. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency. We talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, but better yet, sometimes we need to do some research. We need to dig deep into some of these new projects, these new altcoins that are coming out, providing solutions to real-world problems. And here we're going to be talking about Tenet. Tenet doing pretty good, guys, with regards to price action, getting a little bit of a pump to the upside, but I believe that we could still be very, very early with regards to altcoins in general. But let's look at Tenet. Today we're going to be looking at a bit of a perspective here on Tenet. Should we be buying the dip? Should we be DCAing, dollar cost averaging? But again, we're going to have to do a deep dive. We're going to get into a lot of the details today. Let's just begin by looking at the website and kind of discussing what are the major factors that we can see here. And then ultimately we'll come up with our, nice review. We'll come up with a ranking. We'll come up with a decision. Is Mike going to be buying the dip? All right, so let's continue here. We see building on the most secure blockchain supported by a distributed basket of LSDs backing a native stablecoin. Guys, that's a big sentence, of course. Let me see if I can zoom out here. No, actually, it's not bad. At the end of the day, that sentence right there does sum up what Tenet is trying to achieve here. But it can be confusing. It can be confusing because what do they mean by a distributed basket? That is a big thing. And if you're new to cryptocurrency and you've noticed that there are LSDs, which are called liquid staked derivatives, if you're familiar with them, you would understand that at the end of the day, there is an opportunity to keep your tokens staked while still being able to retain some value or obtain value in form of a other token, a liquid token that allows you to continue actively, let's say, use those stake tokens within an exchange or an ecosystem. And for me, that's really interesting because usually when you stake a token, you do lock up your assets. The assets can't be touched. But now you're getting a liquid staked token that allows you to continue being active in the ecosystem, which a lot of people are finding interesting. So the question is, how does this affect, or how does this play into this stable coin that they're talking about, this native stable coin that Tenet is working on and trying to release here? Guys, it's pretty interesting. Let's dig a bit deeper. So Tenet basically implements a diversified proof of stake. So essentially, instead of staking one single type of asset, it's a diversified, multi-faceted type of staking mechanism. In this case, the contract is secured by an omni-chain governance. Further, unlock the earnings potential of LSDs, fine. But what I really want to focus on is this language right here. Basically, you unlock your liquidity, maximizing returns. It's this liquid staking dollar, okay? So we're going to have to kind of bounce around here just a little bit because the whole story here is that basically you can stake your assets. There can be other layer ones, okay? Other layer ones like Binance. They have a list going on here. We're going to take a look at it in a second, but you can stake other layer ones. And at the end of the day, these layer ones that are staked are going to be backing a stable coin. So it's called LSDC. It's a liquid stake derivative, basically, and increasing the popularity of it creates the opportunity for an innovative stable coin backed by decentralized interest-bearing collateral and secured omni-chain governance. So basically, all these tokens that we are staking from other chains can now be used to back this stablecoin. And if you remember other stablecoins, they're usually backed by one asset. But what happens if that asset fluctuates in value or it collapses or anything like that? Well, there's a sense of centralization with regards to having only one asset backing the stablecoin. And in this case, they have multiple assets backing the stablecoin, giving us a sense of diversification. And diversification in investing at the end of the day, from a portfolio perspective, is just a way of mitigating risk and not putting all your eggs, quote unquote, in one basket. And this is exactly what they're trying to do here. Okay, let's kind of scroll further and let's see the purest stablecoin of all, full sustainable 100% interest loans. Okay, let's continue. What else do they have? Diversified collateral. This is what we're trying to talk about. Does it list here? No, it doesn't. LSD is the first ever stablecoin minted using a diversified basket of interest-bearing liquid staking derivatives. Again, what I was saying before, there's a bunch of tokens together coming here to back this stablecoin up. Economics fueled by demand. Okay. Let's continue. Welcome to a new era of POS, diversified proof of stake. So this is a new type of thing that Tenet is kind of introducing here to the market. It's an opportunity to basically stake and obtain liquidity for major assets like ETH, BNB, Atom, Sol, and ADA. Okay, so these are very important. This is the fact where you get that distribution, you get that diversification. And then again, if that's the case, the stable coin should have some of its stability basically enhanced or secured because of at the end of the day, the overall basket is diverse, not just one token. So I find that to be really interesting, pretty cool, in fact, something that I haven't seen yet in the market. And this is what the value proposition is all about with new projects. You want to see how they differ from other layer ones. Tenet is a layer one. It's a blockchain, right? And what it's trying to achieve here is an entire ecosystem backed by a stable coin, right? Backed by a stable coin. And of course, they have their Tenet token, which what we're talking about today. But the Tenet token at the end of the day is basically fuels the ecosystem. It's what you're going to use to pay transactions, and it's what you're going to get for staking as rewards and so on and so forth. So very important thing here is to understand that there's a couple of tokens here involved, right? There's Tenet, and then there's a stable coin that's involved in this ecosystem, and then there's one more, which we're going to get into that in a second, where it does definitely increase the complexity of this ecosystem, but nonetheless it's not that bad. Okay, so we have two coins right now that we're talking about that's a part of it. We have the Tenet coin, which again fuels the transactions. That's what you pay for gas fees and all of that. Think of Ethereum in the same sense that you pay for gas fees. And then you have the stable coin, which again uses all the staked tokens to back it, which is pretty cool. Okay, so paradigm shift in security. Okay, inclusive ecosystem. Fine. So that POS model uses staked positions, so basically to add to the security. Okay, so validating addresses and weaknesses. Okay, inclusive ecosystem, yield maximization. What I also find interesting is that the project is trying to shift towards a very decentralized and extremely decentralized system, even with its stablecoin. So it's first blockchain with native gauges. This is what I was telling you about that third token. It's called Tenet. Okay, so here's where you get a little bit ambiguous, right? Because a lot of this is still in the works, and not a lot of individuals have been able to really get into this blockchain. You know, the blockchain is very new. This project is extremely new, and of course, until we get our hands dirty with things, it's very difficult to truly understand the mechanisms behind it. But theoretically, Tenet holders can lock tokens to receive Tenet. Okay, and vote on our native gauges. So they're decentralized even more, because it's almost like a DAO in a sense, where you're able to lock up tokens, okay, and receive other tokens called Tenet, which are going to allow you to vote on various things with regards to the project, right? So rewards to Tenet validators and DeFi users on the Tenet. So you're basically able to vote on different aspects of token distribution. Okay, so a very decentralized type of consensus here with the community. I like it. It's pretty good. Again, it adds a layer of complexities, more tokens you introduce and all of that. It does, but it's about getting used to things and about doing your research, and of course, exposure will definitely get you comfortable with what's happening here. Okay, so Tenet right now, it is a complex ecosystem, but it is definitely building. There's a lot going on here. Okay, so what they're introducing here is EVA, which is part of the ecosystem. Okay, in a new project, you're not going to expect that the ecosystem is going to have a lot of, let's say, even third-party applications, which, mind you, Tenet right now doesn't have any third-party applications. They're all native applications, such as this one right here. It's called Eva. Okay, Eva is AI, which is quite interesting, something that we haven't seen yet in the market. which again adds to the value proposition. It's basically introducing human-friendly user interface for Web3. It's basically introducing AI to a wallet, and it's a multi-chain wallet. So very interesting. Tenet's major application is a Web3 mobile wallet featuring advanced transaction assistance. So I don't know if you follow BNB, CZ, and CZ from Binance basically says that the wallet currently is an area of let's call it red tape. Let's call it red tape or friction, right? For newcomers to enter cryptocurrency. That whole wallet idea, self-custody, the risk behind not doing the right thing at the right time and not, being successful using a self-custody wallet essentially increases the risk and makes people not want to get involved. And we all come from different walks of life in the sense of our comfort level using tech. And if we really want mass adoption, we're going to really have to make this whole transaction with mobile wallets and very easy. We're going to have to make it a lot more adaptable and a lot more easy for newcomers to the space. Now, there's a different approach, many different approaches that can happen to achieve that. But we are here talking about a wallet that uses AI. You can essentially speak to it and communicate to it in a way like you would a human, and it would help you basically do your business on the wallet. I find it to be interesting. Of course, there's a lot more dialogue here. There's a lot more details. You're more than welcome to visit the website and read more. But this is part of the innovation that, again, brings value proposition. So there's a couple here. Just to reiterate, we're bringing value here primarily because Tenet is trying to basically de-risk their stablecoin by having a basket of assets that back their stablecoin. Great. We have an ecosystem that has a wallet that uses AI. Pretty cool. Okay. And we're very decentralized because we have a very DAO-like system that allows token holders that stake, they get issued V Tenet, which allows them to vote on different token distribution decisions. Great stuff here. Okay, so we're building the story as we go through the website, and you got to admit this website right now is pretty much on fire. It's really, really good. The graphics are great and nice and clear. Yield optimization. There's a lot of things that it looks very ChatGPT like, right? It can help you do a lot of things. I found the best offer, purchase some ETH, success, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So you're basically interacting with your wallet. Now, of course, a lot of us might think, well, is there any vulnerabilities with your keys and your wallet and then this and that? Guys, there's a lot to discuss, obviously, and only time will let us see if these new innovations pass or fail. Okay, guys, so this is the thing. I always use this analogy. Think about the first airplanes that were ever built. How many times did they fall from the sky? Right? They fail, but eventually now we have airplanes that are, basically, zipping around in record times and providing services and value to customers globally. So this is the thing. As mass adoption happens, as the trial and errors do come about, we're going to definitely improve. So let's see where this goes. This could become industry standard, where we have wallets that are AI, run by AI. Very interesting. Okay, ask and you shall receive. Okay, so that communication and dialogue with your wallet. Now, back to the ecosystem. Of course, we have the EVA wallet, which obviously they are pushing right now as one of their main features. But we have the stablecoin that we already talked about, the LSDC, backed by all those liquid staking, multi-faceted, or let's call it omni network of tons of various different other coins, which is good. Diversified coins backing the stable coin. We have the DEX, which is a Tenet DEX. It's going to be their native exchange, so another project built on Tenet, but it's all native. These are all native things. The native gauge, again, the V Tenet holders that are able to now act like a DAO and go in and basically vote on different aspects of the ecosystem. Lending market. So again, we're going to have some DeFi happening here. So we're going to get a little bit more detail, I guess, in upcoming days, but it focuses on peer-to-peer lending. Okay, some decentralization still pushing forward. The EVA application or the wallet, which we just discussed, and the third party, right? again, they're trying to recruit and get a lot more apps coming into the ecosystem, but this is where we need to focus the most. We need more third-party applications. We need to see that devs are going to be coming onto the platform and driving the Tenet price up as it uses it within the ecosystem. Right now, Tenet needs a use case. It has a utility, but they need more of it. They need more volume, more transaction, more things going here via third party. So as a new project, what do you expect? We're not going to have a lot happening with regards to third party, but it's a good start. In fact, it's a great start. There's not many projects that are offering these types of features. And given that, you know, the stablecoin, we know the stablecoin narrative. I hate to say it, but look at the history of our stablecoin. We have had algorithmic stablecoins that flopped based on vulnerabilities. We have, you know, pressures of our current stablecoins that are backed by US dollar, one currency, that are showing us, you know, some instabilities. Right now, they're trying to find a solution to that problem. That's where the value proposition comes in. Okay, so let's continue here. Advisors, I think this is probably one of their most bullish aspects of the project, and of course, they put themselves, you know, front and center here because they know that it is a benefit who these guys are and where they worked from. They worked at Anchor. They are basically the leads product at Anchor. A lot of them worked at Anchor. You have this guy, Josh, and Marco, both worked at Anchor, which is good. And they have lots of experience, which I really, really like in the blockchain ecosystems. And also in big data companies like Amazon, Facebook, you know, DigitalOcean and Roblox, of course. Okay, great. And of course, Anchor is a liquid staking LSD platform. One of the top, I would say 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. Well, pretty much up there. And that's good because they have lots of experience, right? We need that. We need people that are not just full stack developers, but that have blockchain experience, giving us a bit of that confidence that they know what they're doing to drive this thing forward. Now, we know that Anchor offers the liquid staking derivatives and obviously some APK packages to allow DeFi projects to be built easier, which we like. But if you use Anchor as, you know, a competitor or even as the potential market cap, guys, we have some good X factors here for Tenet. So we'll talk about the overall price target later in a bit to kind of see where we go with this. But you can see that we have some good stuff here. Anchor marketing and so on. Here we have Cam Miar, leading block demon staking firm valued at, so staking experience in a company or a firm that does staking worth over $3 billion. Okay, pretty good. And APIs and a lot of experience. Now, this dude right here I found interesting as well because he has AI experience with OpenAI and Google Brain. So this is what we want. We want to see how AI is going to continue to be introduced in the blockchain. Putting those two together probably is going to be the most bullish narrative in the upcoming bull run because we have two heavyweight technologies that are emerging. Obviously, blockchain technology that we're very aware of, and AI. Slow and steadily, you can see that a lot of these two technologies are converging, and they're basically bouncing one off of one another, which I find very interesting, very important narrative, and I definitely want to get in on that action. So I'm interested. Let's continue here. The roadmap. We have a bit of a roadmap that has a lot of the check marks. Basically, they hit their targets along the way, which I like. This is a juicy part of the roadmap, of course. We have a few, updates along the way, guys. There's a lot of jargon here that is very proprietary or, unique to their, their group here. And, a lot of it, the dashboard, prime launch, market beta, lending market, tenant IP chapter. I don't really even know what these are. And there's not much research that can be done. But really, it's about keeping up with their news, join their socials, go check out what they have to say regarding. They have a lot of papers, a lot of documents released with regards to these updates and upgrades. So feel free to do that research. But at least you can see that they're working towards goals, and their goals are always being targeted and hit, and they are continue working even though we are in a bear market. Good stuff. Okay, so let's continue here. We're pretty much done. The website is pretty good. There under the docs, you got white papers. You can check out their partners and so on. Let's continue by looking at this this overall review, guys. The question is, should we be buying this project? I know I kind of rambled through the website just a bit, but let's get into a little bit more detail whether Mike would buy this, right? Would I be going over and basically packing a bag here at the bottom of the range? Just know that we are in a bear market, and a lot of tokens, regardless if they're new or old, are undervalued. That's what the bear market is for. And the question is this new project not only undervalued, but does it have potential to the upside? So let's get into this in a bit more detail. We're talking about you can see that the ecosystem does have a few limitations. There's no third-party applications, and I'm ranking it 8 out of 10 because of that. We want to see more, and obviously, it's nothing against the project here. It's just the fact is that it's new and its ecosystem is still limited, and we got to understand that those are facts that are basically attributed to many new projects throughout the market. So let's keep it in mind. Utility the Tenet fuels the blockchain transactions. It secures the blockchain, and it's all about that liquid staking backed native stablecoin, and at the end of the day providing DeFi services with the Tenet token, okay, and offering the liquid staking derivatives and exchanges and trading and all that good stuff. So it's a DeFi play. It is a DeFi play, giving us good features, such as, again, a stable coin that is backed by a basket of staked assets rather than just one asset. So I find that to be a very good value proposition. And, the only reason why I don't give it full marks here is because we need to see how this thing's actually going to work out. The stable coin narrative is very, very touchy for a lot of people, especially with what happened to the past based on algorithmic stable coins. And, we know that USDT is always being talked about. We need to see this in a little bit more action and detail here to really get a sense of if this has value. So future performance will definitely give us some encouragement. The roadmap is great. There's nothing to say about there. They're an active community, and the team is solid. As you know, they have experience in many, many facets of tech, and very, very, a lot of it is within the crypto space. So for me, that's very encouraging they know what they're doing, and they have the connections within the market to kind of navigate us through a bull run, which is good. So the social for me is a little bit of, not discouraging, but it's understood. Again, it's very understood that their Twitter followers right now, they're at 142,000 followers. Fine. But what I don't like is the fact that, in the last little while, they've been coming down. So in the last 30 days, we've seen a significant decrease in their followers. Now, we know that we're in a bear market, so of course engagement is low, interest is low, there's not a lot of market participants, so we can't really hold it against it, but we have to be real with the fact that they are decreasing in followers, okay, and they need to keep on increasing their Twitter activity, which is great. That's a positive thing. They're up 35% in their Twitter activity, posting regularly, which is good. In the last 30 days, they increased their Twitter activity by 35%. So although they're declining in followers, at least they're trying to push through this bear market successfully and overall try to grow their social platform. Right? They still need to keep on going. So I'll give it a 7. Tokenomics issues, guys. There's big issues here for me personally, and things that I'm going to really pay attention to is the fact that the token distribution is very aggressive. The token unlocks are going to be very aggressive until the end of 2025. Now, don't take this like in a complete negative way. What you really want to do is, think about your risk. Now, as the tokens get unlocked, and the majority of them, you're talking about 1.1 billion tokens hitting the market within a year and a half or so, and that's a significant amount of tokens that are going to continue putting pressure on the price. The pressure is going to get the price is going to get diluted as the tokens enter the market. But you have to understand that the ecosystem right now is very, very small. So what we want to see is the ecosystem grow at a faster rate and basically consume all these tokens at a faster rate than they are issued into the market. So right now we only have 10% in circulation. 90% still needs to enter the market, which is significant. And all we have to do is hope that the ecosystem keeps on building and they keep on hitting targets so that as projects enter, they're going to be absorbing all those Tenet tokens and staking and doing all that, all those little DeFi features that it offers. So this is the only thing that I'm afraid of, is the overall dilution of the price as tokens enter the market. So we got to keep an eye on that one, guys. A lot of projects get diluted significantly, like we saw Gala Games get diluted significantly by tokens. But then again, you saw Games for a Living, although it has been token distributions have been coming out, the price is still going up because it's absorbing all the tokens. So it's something just to be aware of. But I wouldn't be I would be very cautious about the tokenomics with that regard. Okay, partnerships are good. We have Anchor on board. Of course, a lot of them have ties to Anchor, which is good because they also have experience in the liquid staking derivatives field. And Layer Zero, omni-chain interoperability protocol. Remember that the stable coin that they're offering here, okay, relies on a basket of tokens, and it's on omni-chain, right? So this partnership will lend itself really great because of their whole stable coin structure, the way they're structuring their stable coin. So that's pretty bullish. I like it. I wish they had a little bit more going on, but they do have, their website does say that they have a few more in the works, and they're looking for partnerships and actively getting in touch with other partners. But let's see how they release and how they improve, or some other good teams that enter the Tenet team. Okay, let's continue. Exchanges. We have the majority of the major mid-tier exchanges, even somewhat top tier. You can call KuCoin a big one nowadays, but nonetheless, we don't have the heavyweights like Binance or even what's it called? The other big ones. They're slipping my mind, but you get what I mean. We need those heavyweights in. Because at the end of the day, they're going to bring volume. KuCoin, Bybit, BitGet, Bitmark, Gate, Huobi, Bitfinex. These are all great, sure, but we want Coinbase and Binance in on it for sure. Okay. The overall coin info, of course, it is a small cap. Okay, it is a small cap. It's 60 million market cap. That's very, very small. It's considered for me a micro cap. This thing has a lot of potential growth as a layer one. It could definitely pick up, but you got to think about its competition, right? Its competition could be other layer ones that are offering very similar projects, similar incentives or value propositions. Trading volume is decent. I like the amount of volume that is being traded. 16% of the market cap is moving in and out of the blockchain, essentially $3 million worth. Great stuff here. The max supply is 1.2 billion, and right now we only have 112 million in circulation. Like I mentioned, 90% still need to enter circulation, so we still could get some of that negative pressure on price as we get those token unlocks until 2025. Fully diluted market cap is only 120 million, guys. This thing's a baby. It's a baby. There's a lot of potential to the upside still if this thing pulls through. Okay. The verdict for me, again, I already touched on a little bit of these. The ecosystem small. Layer one, of course, with a unique value proposition, with the diversification of their stablecoin, and of course Tenet with their wallet using AI. I like that. It is part of a healthy narrative, which is the liquid staking narrative. Great. And the stablecoin narrative, again, the market is trying to actively find a solution to our stablecoin issue and completely depeg ourselves from external let's say interferences, let's put it that way. And in that case, this could be an option. Hitting all roll mat targets is a good thing and still active during a bear market. Ecosystem is small, of course, no third party applications just yet. Unique AI powered multi-chain Web3 wallet. Guys, that's a handful. But I think that's a cool thing. That's a really good narrative, right? I think a lot of other heavyweights in the space also associate the wallet to be one of the drawbacks for a lot of people adopting into Bitcoin. So this could be a good one. June 19th, they had over 175K Twitter followers, falling to about 142K in 2 weeks. Why is that the case? That for me is problematic. Now, of course, it could be algorithmic based, meaning Twitter's algorithm maybe dropped a lot of bots, or who knows what it could be. But for me, that's something that I got to take a look at, and we got to keep an eye on socially. A lot of these people, a lot of these projects rely on our social engagement to get the word out. And the platform Twitter is, crypto Twitter is the biggest one. So I want to make sure that they're on the right track. The marketing team needs to keep on pumping, which is good because they are increasing reducing their Twitter activity in the last little while by approximately 35%. So that's pretty good. At least they're fighting back. The aggressive token unlocks, guys, again, just to repeat, as they keep on hitting the market, we're going to see pressure on the price. And finally, my price target. I felt like it would be healthy of me to compare this project to Anchor, because not only does Anchor provide the liquid staking, but it is one of the top ranked, let's say, liquid staking type of options. And for me, this is probably the biggest narrative. Now we can compare this to DeFi, we can compare this to other projects in DeFi, like maybe even Rocket Pool, right? Rocket Pool's a little bit bigger, but you know, it's always good to be modest. Now, what about if this thing does a 12k just to reach Anchor? Okay, just to reach Anchor, you're looking at a 12x, which would take us to about $1.70. For me, that would be great. That would be great in the short term. Now, remember, this is new. And for me, the value proposition is definitely interesting, but to expect this to do 1000x for me is a bit too early. And guys, I really don't think. I think a good 12x to 20x maximum for me in the upcoming bull run would be great, would be healthy to see. The project is still new. Don't expect it to go to reach maximum profit, maximum bullish price targets in one go. I think 12x is very modest and very, very, you know, healthy for any portfolio. So my rating overall is at about 8.5. I think it should do well. And a small bag, an accumulation at the bottom of the range could be very, very worth it. All right, so you know what? Let's take a look at the Tenet price to see what's going on here with regards to price action. So far, we covered a lot of fundamentals. We talked about, you know, if the project itself is good enough. And again, look at this price action. For me to actually say that this thing is going to explode in this bull run, and remember, it takes time. Things take time. Maybe the next bull run, this thing might hit a larger evaluation. But right now, we're trying to see if this thing can get out of the, you know, out of the mud here, right? Is it going to actually pump to the upside? And we don't have much price action looking left to actually give us an indication of what's happening. So again, it's all about risk to reward. Fundamentals look decent, okay? Now, with that, you can rest assured with a certain degree of confidence that the project's going to hold up. If you feel convicted and you like what it's trying to offer as a solution to problems, you should feel that conviction and start DCing. Now, what I like to do is personally, I like to get into a scenario where I get into a bag where I am okay with losing a good portion of that value upon a dip. And it means that I'm just going to get into a small bag. If it does dip and come down to lower levels, I am okay with that to happen. I already pre-calculated into my risk to reward ratio. My overall risk tolerance right now is going to have to give me a little bit of that flexibility. And with that being said, I'm not going to get into a heavy bag because we don't know what's going to end up happening here. If we're going to come back down to test the bottom of the range or even create a lower low. We got a lower high. We got one low. Could we come down and make a lower low? That's confusing for me, and you know, it's a bit scary. So at the end of the day, we don't know if we're going to crash down and come to lower levels. For me, we see that on the 4 hour, we're definitely overbought. Okay, the 4 hour time frame is probably the safest time frame if you want to get into trading it. I would stay with the 4 hour at the highest, and I would say that we're overbought. We got into extreme conditions. We can see that we are slowly trying to roll over. We got a confirmation low. We got a lower high, which for me is, you know, an indication that we could potentially come down. Now we do have a bit of a trend. We only got 1, 2. Are we going to go for a third touch? And then for me, that starts to build the confidence that this is a trend, and the trend is usually your friend until the end. So what that means is that we kind of want to break below this trend line before we get any confirmation of a potential pullback to lower levels, right? So we did get into overbought. A full reset to oversold is probably likely, guys. So for me, getting in right now is a bit you know, risky. And of course, if you're going to get in with a small bag, you're going to mitigate your risk through DCAing, and coming down to about 13 cents for me is not bad, or even a bit higher at about 14 cents is not bad. Hitting the trend line would be okay to anticipate a bit of a bounce. But what if we do get a bounce and we do not create a higher high with some good conviction? Be prepared to take profits, trail up that stop loss, put yourself at break even, because if we come down after getting a strong rejection off of a lower high, guys, it starts to look like we're breaking structure here and starting to come down to lower levels. Okay, so be very careful here. This is the time to potentially DCA. Let me put some red arrows in here, or green arrows, to kind of outline what I would be doing in the immediate short term. Personally, I would be buying a bit right now just for, why not? And a very little. Again, holding, anticipating a dip, and DCing at lower levels. But what about if we do continue here? What about if something really bullish happens? At least you have a bit of a skin in the game. And another thing that I would do is, of course, take half on the double right away. As soon as you double your money, take half, take your initial investment out, and that way you're just playing with house money. And that's the best stance to have to be in. Is, it doesn't matter if the market goes up and down. In that case, you took your initial investment out and you're hunting for other opportunities. So right now, this is for me not bad. If you see that we pretty much hit some extension levels, swing high to swing low, you can see that we hit the 1.618 extension. It's pretty good. From a bullish perspective, what else do you want from it, really? And then from a big picture retracement, right, we're probably hitting the 0.5 Fibonacci. Or let's get some more detail here. Swing high, swing low. Yeah, 0.5 Fibonacci, pretty accurate there. 0.5 Fibonacci, maybe get another leg up to the golden pocket 618. Maybe we finally roll over and come down. Maybe we kind of go sideways here. My opinion is we got overbought. Let's get into oversold and buy in with a bit more conviction at lower levels. Right now, it kind of ran up just a bit. I remember back here, people were talking about it and people were afraid of holding at this level. But look at the bounce that we got, guys. So looking pretty good here on Tenet. The trick here with all new speculative assets that are entering our market is to DCA nice and slow and don't risk too much that you're willing to lose, because at the end of the day, you don't never know how low this is going to go. And as soon as we get signs of accumulation, you just buy the dip slow and steady. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.